Hello, welcome to the Art of Impactful Self-Promotion, where you can learn from industry leaders to find out how they built their expert brands. I'm your host, Krystal Covington, and I'm here with Carolina Zurita, a dynamic young woman with a triple threat brand. She's an author, speaker, and visionary who's traveling the world and pursuing her life vision. Carolina, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Krystal. I'm so excited to be here with you today. Thank you so much. I'm super happy.
Thank you. I'm so excited. Everyone I know that has met you is just like, oh my God, she is a magical woman. You inspire people with just a few minutes of being around them. So you're like the 10-minute impact woman. That should be your name. Impact in 10 minutes or less.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah,
So
sometimes magic is all around us.
it absolutely is. So Carolina, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
All right. I'll try to make it short. So I'm an Ecuadorian, South American, who just felt like learning all over again. Felt like wanted for something else. So and then I made huge in my life, not once, not twice, probably several times. And my last one was 8 months ago. So, but the biggest probably was 4 years ago when I moved to China alone, and I had only my luggage with me, even against my parents' will. I was on my 25 around when I went there. So that was probably the biggest challenge, or one of the biggest challenges, because I needed to learn how to survive, and I learned how to love what I had the most, because
Yeah.
sometimes we're going through our lives like having it all, but we get everything for granted, right? So we are not grateful for those little things. I didn't even notice the effort my parents were doing with me until I had them no more. So, and then those little things, even the words of mom, the parents, me as a child, and friends and stuff. So yeah, so I learned probably the first lesson was to love what you had at the moment. Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, your story is definitely inspirational. So I want to talk a little bit about what made you decide to, um, you've made some choices in your life, and what made you decide to really go after that? Was there an instance where you remember saying, this is absolutely what I need to do with my life, and you went for it? Or was it a sequence of small events that led you to where you are today?
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, when I thought about going to China, my previous years, I knew that I wanted to live somewhere else. I didn't want to stay in my place, in my country. I mean, in my with the same reality. Not because, well, at that time, of course, I didn't like it, so it was not making me happy. I was very curious to learn other way of living. And mostly because I began on my early 20s, I began discovering myself. I began reading books, and probably my first book was um, You Can Heal Your Life of Louise Hay. And I learned a lot. I was working on my affirmations by that time, and then I felt confused, and then I knew that I have to leave the rat race. So I tried several times to move to another country. I couldn't make it. I was still young. I needed to finish my studies. So once I finished them, right after my the last day of school, 1 week after, I was traveling to China. So I never thought about China. I never ever thought about China. The last country or the last thought I had was China, but I was just desperate. Even though I was very afraid, because always changes. Just thinking about a new change, people get a lot of fear. I
Yeah.
was I was terrified. I was terrified of my next step. But still, it was like, if I don't make it now, if I don't do it now, I'm not gonna do it ever. And then I rather, do the next step instead of complaining of what I'm having. So I just have to do it. So yeah, of course, I was terrified. Believe me, if I still remember the first day when I just landed in Hong Kong, and then I just went out of the airplane, and then I felt the smell. The smell, Hong Kong is just by the sea, so you can
Oh.
smell the sea, the fishing area. And then I was like, oh my gosh, where am I going? I'm from the Highlanders. I'm from the Highlanding, from the Andes, and back in my city. And then I was like, oh my God, where am I going? I mean, is there any way to go back? But I was there. I was there. So it was like, all right, this is my new beginning. Yeah.
I love that, new beginnings. And I remember when we first talked, you told me about the first big opportunity that you got there. A lot of people that are watching this, they want to find ways to become an expert at something. They're trying to build their expertise, and you have an empowering story about how you went out there and you did something that you would not have felt ready for at the place that you were at right now, and you went for it. Talk about that story.
hmm well, when I was that night, I was, with my luggage, arrived in Shenzhen, the city right next to Hong Kong in mainland. I was with my luggage in the middle of this plaza, looking for a miracle, just expecting a miracle, because I had no phone, no money, enough money, and then I had no place, and then I didn't speak any word in Mandarin at that time. So I was just sitting down and expecting a miracle until I managed myself to find a hostel and stuff. And a few weeks after, I got my first job, and then I didn't think twice. To me, was my um, lucky strike. I was like, oh, it's very easy to be teaching English in here. And then I go like, really? I mean, I'm South American. My first language is Spanish, of course. And then people are like, that it's very easy to make money teaching English. And I'm like, where is that? Please take me there, because I'm so excited to do it. But do you know what how to make this thing, how to deal with that? And they go like, well, I'll figure it out on the way, but I'm not going to refuse any opportunity right now. So this is what I did. And of course I learned all the way. I got really good co-workers, even though, because I remember the first school where I worked, all of the teachers were male teachers and American teachers. And I was the only woman, just, new in town, plus Spanish speaker. And then it was like, they are willing to learn English first, and then teaching English. So as I said one more time, I just did it because when you see yourself in this starting point, it's either I step forward, as I say it again, I step forward, or I just stay here crying over your current situation. So it was like, I have to save myself. After a few days more, I won't have enough money to live, to eat, to pay for a place to stay, so I needed to make it. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, that story is so, it strikes me that you're just so brave at that young age. I mean, that's a very young age to be so empowered. Um, the other thing I want to talk about, I remember you'd mentioned that you had taken the chance to get this really huge speaking gig. Tell us about that.
Oh, that was okay. That was few years after. Um, and then I talk about that on my book as well. I actually explain a very widely on my book. So that's another hard time. I was making good money. I was making really good money, and then I found the perfect guy, Mr. Perfect. I found him, and then we lived together for 2 years, a little bit less than 2 years. I was very happy, and then I think we both enjoyed together. We were having a really great life until he decided to leave. So whatever reason it was, he just left, and then that break me, that broke me into pieces, like totally. Mostly because I was ready to step forward. I decided already I want to be a life coach. I went through a lot of stuff, and then since my 19, when I was 19 and stuff, and then I learned, I got wisdom. I've been reading, I've been experienced myself, so I'm ready to teach others. So, and then he said, fine, I'll support you. And then you quit your jobs, and then I'll support you for you to keep on going. But then when the day he left, again, I was with no job. I was with friends, and then I was without his support. And then again. So I that was, as I said, my recent hard time again. But this time was different. This time was, I have my tools already. I have my tools, and I'm gonna make it happen. So I wipe up my tears, and then step forward, and then I just applied for this. I saw this in one of the ads back then, and then they were looking for speakers, and then I go like, okay, I'm gonna apply, even though I haven't done this before, but I'll do it. And then I did. But I was thinking they're not gonna accept me, probably because I don't have long experience in speaking and stuff, but I did it. So they accepted me a few hours after I applied. I received the call, and then they go like, "Are you interested in speaking next week? I mean, we are very interested in your background." And I said, "Yeah, sure." And then I said, "But you gotta be aware that my platform is like I have like more than 10,000 followers all around China. So
Ooh.
Every time that I do my lectures, is over 300 people who attended my event." And then I go like, Jesus, 300 people. All right, I can do it. I can handle that. So I was there, and I prepared myself for for days in advance, and then I prepared myself very well. I even knew what I was going to wear that night. But probably the hardest time was I didn't have that person who was supposed to support me. And I was alone. I was going to face something new alone one more time.
Yeah.
So, and then I was supposed to speak about taking risks, and accepting the way you are, and then feel confident with what you are, and be grateful with what you have at that time. But even myself, I was struggling with my feelings, So, but once I stood up there, and then I just started speaking, people loved it, and people were like so supportive, and they were like, they loved it. And then, I just cried after, because I was like, oh my gosh, people love me. I mean, I'm not alone. So, yeah, that was probably my first experience. I won't forget it. Yeah, it was beautiful.
That is amazing. You went up there without the support, and then you found that support in the crowd after you told your story.
Yep. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think I'm sure you addressed a little bit of this, but what are some of the major pitfalls that you ran into along the way of your journey? Things that maybe you wish you would have done differently, or things that you feel like if you had known something, you would have been able to do it differently or better. What are some of those things that you would consider to be pitfalls in the past?
Mm-hmm. Well, another topic that I also understand by myself, I learned by myself, is and then I also, sorry to say that, sorry to change a little bit the idea, but words of Steve Jobs comes into my mind when he says, you have to believe the dots, sooner or later, they're going to be connected, the present to the past. And this is what happened to me. I connected my current thoughts with past situations. And then when I see my present, because of situations I did or happened to me in the past, I am grateful, because if I didn't have those moments in the past, I wouldn't be living this present. So since then, since I'm aware of that, I am actually grateful and I don't regret. So I see them perfect.
Mm.
So when I see my past was perfect, the struggle that I had when I was a child was perfect, you know. So because that made me what I am today. So yeah.
I love that. Oh, that's a
Hmm.
beautiful answer.
Thank you.
So, what are some consistent actions that you take to, um, maintain the brand that you have? You have a brand as an expert. You called yourself a life coach. You're working on a book. What are some actions that you take to maintain the brand that you have to keep yourself on track with what you're doing and what you're working on?
Hmm. Well, there are very few things, very few secrets that I do, and one of them is probably keep taking risks. I mean, just leave the comfort zone over and over again. The times that you have to do it, you have to do it. You have to risk. You have to go for more. You have to, stay hungry. Just go for more. If you have to travel somewhere else, then go. If you have to learn another language, then do it. If you have to study another, um, you know, subject, then do it.
Yeah.
Do what you have to do in order to what you want to reach in life. So this is one of the things, and of course the other thing is another thing that I always practice is live your present. I live my present, live in every day. I don't expect anything else. I don't rush myself, and I just enjoy what I'm having now, and then opportunities are always coming. So I'm just here waiting for that, you know. Yeah.
Awesome. So, what's your favorite way to get the word out about what you do?
Say it again.
What's your favorite way to get the word out about what you do? How do you let people know about who you are and what you do?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Um, I like I like to make them feel that I'm not different from the others. I also went through the same things that most people do. One day I didn't have the money. One day I was rejected by a man. One day I was confused about what I wanted to study. One day I didn't know what I wanted in life. So when I begin telling people, I'm one of you. I mean, I'm one of this situation, this real life, because we are always complaining. I mean, life is so hard. Life is so difficult. People out there, they are mean. They are not good with us. So then I'm telling them, yeah, I was one day like you, and then I suffered, and then I cried. But this is what I am now because I follow these steps. So and then people are, they see it's like those pictures when you are chubby and then when you lose some weight and like this is my before, this is my after, and people are
Yeah.
like, wow, I mean, how did you get there? Well, let me tell you, and then you gotta be willing to follow the steps. So yeah, as I said, it's just to make them feel comfortable. People understand that you went or are sometimes in the same situations like they live every day. Yeah.
Yeah, you are definitely a storyteller. I would say that you're good at, coming up with stories from your life that people can really relate to.
Yeah. 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 Hmm.
Awesome. Do you do a lot of speaking? Is that something that you do, blogging, things like that?
Yeah. I prepare a lot of seminars and workshops back in China. So I did my last before I came to US. I was in Shanghai and Guangzhou, another city back in the south, Shenzhen, where I live, and Huizhou, another city. I've been writing articles because right after my successful first speaking, opportunity, I started writing articles, and then people loved it. People start following them. So and then my articles went until Thailand, Zimbabwe, few of them in Russia.
Wow.
Yeah, people are very accepting them. So this is what I've been doing. I may go back. I have already some seminars to do in China as well, so I may go back. I had my first seminar in here in the university, Regis University. I had my
Oh,
first time here in America, so yeah, I'm so excited.
yeah, I know there. I know people that work there.
All right, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I was there few nights ago. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Thank you.
So what tips would you share for someone who hasn't yet established themselves as an expert? They don't really know what they could share with the world. They don't know how to build an audience for their voice and their stories. How would you tell someone to get started with doing that?
Mm-hmm. Well, three things comes to my mind right now. The first thing is believe that your story it's the story. Believe that you're the only one who tells your own story better. Believe that your story is unique. Believe that there are people who need your story. So don't hesitate, like probably somebody else's book or story is better than mine. Yours is perfect. So everything is perfect for the perfect people. So there are gonna be out there people waiting for your story first.
Yes.
Second, be patient with yourself. Be patient. Opportunities are coming once you believe in what you're doing, once you are passionate of what you're doing, passionate of what you're doing, people out there are gonna come. Opportunities are gonna come. So be patient. So enjoy your present because you're learning from yourself. You are experiencing a better way. So be patient. And the third one is just be grateful. Be grateful with the process you're living right now, the people you're talking to right now, the people who are listening, and then who's willing to help you. Just be grateful with everything you have, the knowledge, the wisdom you have. Yep, that those are the few things that I would, recommend.
That is the best. Those are great. Those were perfect.
Thank you.
Talking to you is an incredible experience every single time. Thank you so much for the amazing wisdom that you have shared with the audience here.
Thank you so much. Thank you for letting me be here, telling my story. I wish you also the best, the best. So I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, how can people keep in touch with you?
So they can follow me on Facebook. I have Carol Zurita, Motivation 16. I can send you the link. And for now, I'm building my web page, and the book is it's coming out soon, soon, soon. I'm so excited. Yeah, but for now, Facebook is okay.
Great. Okay. Well, definitely send me the link to that and I'll add it to the blog so that people can keep in touch because I know they're going to want to. And, I want to thank you so much for everything that you've shared today. And all of you who are watching, thank you so much for joining us. Remember that you deserve to be seen, heard, and known. I hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.